Is Assassin's Creed back? Is the world really healing? Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk about this because I recently played the latest Assassin's Creed Mirage DLC, which is free, and after playing it, my eyes were teary and a big smile was on my face. This made me wonder if this series can truly come back after all its massive miscalculations and missteps. I'm saying this also because a lot of big news about the upcoming Assassin's Creed game has come out just in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I'll share all of that too, so make sure you watch till the end. Assassin's Creed has always been my all-time favorite series, which is why I talk about it so much because I care about it. But I also know, and you probably know too, that in the past few years this series has mostly disappointed its longtime and OG fans. When developers or management make the wrong decisions, it really hurts to see your favorite series suffer. But now, there is a ray of hope in Assassin's Creed Mirage's Valley of Memory. And since I've talked about so many flaws in this series, it's only fair to talk about what's good too. There's even more good news coming, but I'll get to that in a little while. First, let's dive into and talk about the Valley of Memory. Now look, anyone who has played Assassin's Creed Mirage knows the game isn't perfect. Its story is quite boring. Basim's character feels dull, the combat isn't polished, and there are a few other flaws as well. But me and many other Assassin's Creed fans still supported this game because it had that classic feel, the stealth and parkour the franchise is known for, the two main elements that had been missing since 2018. Now, a free DLC has been released for Mirage. For those who don't know, DLC means extra content, which can continue the story, add new missions, and maybe even new locations. A similar DLC came out for Shadows called Claws of Awaji, and I didn't like it at all. That DLC was so bad that after playing it, I wondered why I even played Assassin's Creed Shadows. But the Valley of Memory is the complete opposite. It's not just good, it's actually much better than the main game itself. Let's go through it one by one. Assassin's Creed Mirage had a lot of flaws, the biggest being its story. The Mirage story is very bland, it doesn't feel substantial, there's no real motivation while playing, the beginning is weak, and overall the story structure feels broken. But in the Valley of Memory, we finally get a story that is genuinely good. To give a little context, Basim sets out to find his father and ends up in a place called Al-Ula, which is a completely new location for the game. I won't spoil too much, but by the end, it really feels like Basim has learned something, faced his past, forgiven himself, and many unanswered questions are finally addressed. It's the kind of ending that touches your heart, you feel happy, but your eyes also get teary. It reminds you of the old Assassin's Creed games. Honestly, I never thought we'd see a story like this again, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Thank you, Ubisoft, Bordeaux, and Paris for making this. I won't talk more about the story. It's better if you play and experience it yourself. Another thing I really liked was the mission structure. In Mirage, there wasn't much grind, which was a huge relief because grind had really hurt games like Shadows and Valhalla. But there was still one issue with the mission structure. You were given an objective board showing 5 or 10 targets, and then you had to go to each target, complete some side missions to learn more about them, and finally eliminate them. This structure felt lazy and repetitive in both Mirage and Shadows. But in this DLC, that's not the case at all. There's still an objective board, but it's mostly symbolic. The story is completely linear, where you move directly from one mission to the next, which is actually really good. One reason might be that the entire DLC is only about 5 to 6 hours long, so there aren't many missions, making the objective board less useful. I remember in Claws of Awaji, half of your playtime was just spent killing 10 or 12 bosses, which felt pointless. The developers could have done the same with the Valley of Memory to increase playtime, but they didn't, and that's a good thing. I hope future Assassin's Creed games follow the same approach. Now look, not everything is perfect. There are still problems, like the combat, which feels just as unpolished as the main game. Besides stealth, sword fights aren't very fun. Even the game controls feel a bit off, and since I came back to the game after a long time, it didn't really help me remember the controls. The controls menu doesn't even list everything fully. Facial animations are still very weak and often look plastic. Enemy AI is also quite dumb, you can get really close, and they still often don't notice you. But the game also has some quality of life improvements. Now, finally, you can jump whenever you want. It's not limited to specific scenarios or obstacles. You can jump anywhere, anytime, a feature that was in the last Unity game and has returned after almost 11 years. Besides that, parkour has also improved. Yes, it still feels a little janky, but now you can finally control your movements freely. You can also use the old game's filters and control schemes. And yes, the cutscenes are finally motion captured. It's not just two people standing and talking. You won't believe it, but in Assassin's Creed Shadows, proper motion capture wasn't really used. Most of it was procedurally generated, which is why it felt so strange and dull. Now, proper motion captured cutscenes are back, just like the old games, with different camera angles, facial expressions, and amazing voice acting. This makes experiencing the story much more enjoyable. A lot of effort and money clearly went into this, and it should, especially since Saudi Arabia invested in making the DLC. The location Al Valhalla has now become a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and this DLC was made to promote it positively. Maybe that's why it's free for all of us. Whatever the reason, as gamers, we're finally getting good content, and it doesn't get any better than this. And I hope we continue to get this kind of content in the future. We want Assassin's Creed games like Mirage, where the focus is on stealth and parkour, with story and combat improved and other areas polished. Even smaller 15 to 20-hour games would work, because honestly, we're tired of 50-hour Assassin's Creed games where half the time is spent on repetitive missions. If the gaming industry wants to heal, they need to focus on AA games instead of just AAA titles. Mirage is a good example of that. For any company, the biggest motivation is money, meaning profits. The good thing is, Mirage must have made a lot because Ubisoft recently announced that the game crossed 10 million players. Yes, that includes Ubisoft Plus subscribers, but the game still made significant profit. This gives a lot of respect to Bordeaux, as their first full game was so successful. Now the company will trust them more, and they'll likely get a bigger budget for the next game. So let's see how all of this develops moving forward. Now look, from the LinkedIn of a junior 3D modeler working at Ubisoft Bordeaux, it seems they are working on an unannounced project that started in October 2025. It's believed that this project could be Stardust, which might be a remake of Assassin's Creed 1. Mirage and 1 had quite similar mission structures and settings, so they could reuse assets. Honestly, I would have been happier with a completely new stealth and parkour-focused Assassin's Creed, but a remake works too since I never played the first part, and it was a pretty slow game. One doubt is that the Assassin's Creed series responsibility is now with Vantage Studios, which doesn't include Bordeaux, so how will they make a new game? Vantage Studios' next Assassin's Creed might be Hexy, and here's an exciting update. Benoit Richer, the game director of Batman Arkham Origins, is directing Hexy. Arkham Origins was a really good game, so people are excited for Hexy. Recent reports also reveal that Project Scarlet has been cancelled. It was supposed to be a major Assassin's Creed game after Hexy, set during the US Civil War, a perfect setting, in my opinion, especially since the North American trilogy was very successful. But the game had to be cancelled because of backlash related to Yasuke, and this game would have had a black protagonist during the Civil War. Anyway, besides that, a lot of updates have come in. Ubisoft announced that Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time Remake, Rainbow Six Mobile, The Division Resurgence, and an unannounced game will all release by Q4. Now, I know hearing Prince of Persia's name probably got everyone's attention, but first, let's talk about the unannounced game. It's believed that this could be a remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which has people really excited. Over the past year, there have been several leaks and hints about it. Even recently, a Ubisoft Singapore employee posted on LinkedIn that they contributed to the Black Flag remake, which is being made on the Anvil engine. This is the same studio that made Skull and Bones, whose situation you know. It's also believed that this remake might be an RPG, though that's just speculation for now. We'll see how it turns out, and it's possible it could be announced at the upcoming Game Awards. Speaking of the Game Awards, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time Remake could also be revealed there since it's set to release by March 2026. Even a 10-minute gameplay presentation had leaked, but Ubisoft removed it with a copyright claim, so I can't show it here. The presentation showed an updated character overview of Princess Farah, a walkthrough of the remake's story, and some live motion capture scenes. The gameplay looked very early alpha, almost 2 years old, but people really liked Farah. Special attention is being given to facial expressions, and the combat and combos looked impressive. Farah also had a bow and arrow, which added to the excitement. The game is being built completely from the ground up, and 2 new locations are being added, so it looks like a lot of good content is coming from Ubisoft. It's going to be really interesting. On one side, Ubisoft is revealing new games, and on the other, their ex-developers Expedition 33 could become Game of the Year. Exciting times ahead. So tell me, what do you think about the future of Assassin's Creed? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more gaming videos.